My husband and my friend acted like they wanted each other sexually right in front of me. Background. My husband 35M and I 35F have been married for 12 years, together for 17. 2 nights ago we went out for a friend's birthday. We'll call her Jane 36F. Jane is married to my husband's childhood friend. They got married about a year and a half ago and they have not been doing well due to him breaking Jane's trust. They're in therapy, but it's getting close to divorce. She is understandably very upset. More background that will make sense later. My husband and I haven't had sex in 2 months. I have recovered from an injury that caused a lot of bleeding during sex. A couple of times during these 2 months, I offered oral sex to him but he declined. He said he wasn't feeling up to it when I offered and I believe him. I just want to make it clear this is not a sexless marriage. My husband also has some self-esteem issues from prior trauma and he's in therapy for that. While we're out for Jane's birthday with some other friends, everything is fine until there are a few drinks in. I only had one the entire night. Our other friends had to call it a night, so it's just me, my husband, and Jane. This is where things get weird. They start flirting in this weird power play for dominance. I don't know how to describe it really. Jane says something about putting herself in a box, like corny jail, because it's been so long since she's had sex, and my husband jokingly grabs her by the throat and says, "Yeah, I'll put you in a box." While all of this is happening, there's this random dude that's hitting on Jane. It's karaoke night and the random guy serenades her and gives her this silly lap dance. So all fun and games, right? No. It just keeps escalating from here. Later Jane grabs my husband's hair and shoves him into the wall and he kind of moans. He says, "If you grab me by the hair again, it will end with my stick in your pie hole," or something along those lines. This entire time I'm awkwardly laughing it off because I know they're both drunk and they're laughing. At the time, I think my husband is playing around trying to make her feel better because it's her birthday and her marriage is in the trash. I didn't realize it until hours later. My husband wasn't giving me any of the attention he usually does. More flirting keeps happening and my husband asks me multiple times if I'm okay. I just quickly answer that I'm fine. If he's asking me that multiple times, doesn't that sound like he knows something is wrong and he's just looking to see how far this would go? When the bar is closing, I drive us home. Jane doesn't want to go home because of things going on in her marriage. She's stayed with us before, so that's not out of the ordinary. And of course it just gets weirder. Jane pushes my husband onto the couch, straddles him, and chokes him. My husband is enjoying this. I'm standing there dumbfounded. He kept saying how the dynamic was weird but how much he wanted it. Later, while my husband is in the restroom, Jane tells me they are not sexually attracted to each other, but they're both very sexually attracted to me, like yes. I know my husband is sexually attracted to me. He comes out and at some point, my husband says he wants to throw us both down and fug us and says go fug my wife to Jane. As soon as what was said involved me directly, I had to say something then. I said I think both of them sober wouldn't do anything behind Jane's husband's, my husband's best friend from childhood, back regardless of how much of a jerk he's being, and I wasn't down to do anything when alcohol is involved. They said okay. What I said was a cop-out, honestly. I wouldn't be comfortable if alcohol wasn't involved either, but I didn't know how to reasonably voice that, so I used alcohol as an excuse. Later, I've come to understand I was dissociating at the bar and was not processing what was happening. I also didn't want to come between whatever was happening because they're 2 adults. I shouldn't have to be the sober person to stop or otherwise prevent something happening by being a mother hen. My husband should know better. We had previously talked about how I was uncomfortable earlier this month when she had put her hand on his chest while laughing. She was also drunk then. He apologized for not stopping that. So what would the night have been like if I wasn't there? I feel grimy or ashamed, but I didn't do anything, so why do I feel that way? How much of this is being drunk and silly and not having had sex in a while, and how much of it is something else? Is this going to happen any time he has a few drinks and someone gives him attention? I don't know. I have communicated all of this to my husband once he was sober and he says he feels awful. He apologized and made us an appointment with a marriage counselor. I'm asking the above questions, and does it seem like therapy would even help? Has anyone else dealt with someone similar, and what was the result? I'm having nightmares about this. I'm so hurt and angry I can barely even look at my husband. Am I being unreasonable? Is it my fault for not saying I wasn't okay until later, even though I wasn't given the chance to really think about it? Edit. It's 4:30 a.m. here and I should really try to sleep. I've been trying to read and reply to all of your comments, but my head is pounding. I'll pick this back up later on today. Thank you to everyone if I haven't replied to you yet. Edit 2. I'll give you that I'm a terrible writer, but I'm also really struggling to put everything together as it happened. My mind is a complete mess. I don't have a way to prove anything besides text messages, which could be faked anyway. I'm not sure about the unimportant details, but the mysterious injury was my cervix. I wanted to gloss over the somewhat gory details why there was a medical reason we hadn't had sex in 2 months. I also feel like I'm taking on some of the blame. If he wasn't pent up, maybe he wouldn't have acted that way. Which is stupid, he shouldn't have done that anyway, I know. I tried to paint a picture with the background characters to how the night was going and how that contributed to me freezing up. The random guy being also incredibly drunk and serenading contributing to a very chaotic, hard to even hear yourself even think, karaoke night. And about the friends that already left, I thought it was weird they only started acting like this after they left. Either that or it was because they had more drinks and therefore less inhibition.
Relevant comments. Mrs. Jonesy 2012. The friend would absolutely be gone from my life. She would no longer be allowed around either of us, blocked from phones, etc. Does your husband have an alcohol problem? Does he go out often without you? Because if he acts like that in front of you, can you imagine what he does when you're not there? Do you have a therapist? Maybe one that could work with you on speaking up in uncomfortable conversations. How is your husband behaving since you called him out on it?
OP. He does not have an alcohol problem. He rarely drinks, and when he does, it's social situations and maybe a couple of beers. I can count on one hand the times he's gone out without me. So you can see how this has left me feeling shell-shocked. Completely left field. I reached out to make an appointment with a therapist already. I had one early this year, but I didn't really vibe with them. I had been meaning to find another anyway. He's just acting as normal? It's kind of like he's walking on eggshells around me though. That's the best way I can describe it. I was organizing and cleaning, trying to stay busy because if I don't, I just cry, and he asked me if I needed help. He would have asked that any other time as well, but I was snippy and said no. He just said okay and did his own thing in our office room.
The curious Courtney. He's walking on eggshells BC. He's waiting for you to flip out on him, because he knows what he said/did was fucked up. He's just hoping you'll be spineless enough to let it go. Honestly, they probably had sex when he took her home. If they didn't, he wants to, and that could not be more clear. Your friend also is using you, probably knowing you are a doormat, and that she can literally flirt with your husband/cheat with him in front of you and you'll do nothing. It probably makes her feel confident after whatever she's gone through, which at this point, I'm assuming she played a role in. But that's neither here nor there. You have one singular life. I truly hope you read everyone's comments and grow a backbone. This was one of the most disturbing posts I've read. The whole pie hole fug comment would be enough for me. I'm sorry you experienced this, and that 2 people you trusted betrayed you. But please don't convince yourself there's any excuse for their behavior. None. And I would seriously think on the fact that your husband's lack of desire for BJS the past few months is coupled in timing with his interest in your friend. They were comfortable enough saying those things in front of you. No normal person would say a supercharged sexual comment, joking or not, without prior probing of how a person reacts. Most likely they have talked or interacted privately prior to that night.